Hello my Mishi friends, Envy here, and today's video we are going to learn how to start a webcomic. Now this is specifically how I would start off my own webcomic. Yeah, let's jump into the video. Okay, so to start us off we're going to start with a new canvas, obviously. I use whatever Procreate's comic default is. It's a 6 by 9.5 canvas with a DPI of 400. Now you may be asking yourselves, what is DPI? Well, DPI stands for dots per inch, which essentially just means how many pixels makes up your canvas. So the higher your resolution, the clearer your image will be. So if you had an 8 by 11 inch piece of paper at 400 DPI, your image would look very crisp, very clean, not fuzzy at all. On the other hand, if you were to print it at a lower DPI of, let's say, 200, you can see by my two examples that it becomes blurry and fuzzy because you're losing pixels and it's stretching the image to fill up the empty space. So you want to make sure you have a high enough resolution or DPI to create a cleaner looking image. Um, and I will physically draw out the boxes. They will be really crappy little boxes, but it's fine. And really, I'm just thinking in my head what the camera shot is gonna look like. So maybe I want a full-on, big wide shot of my character, and I'm thinking it's from behind at an angle somewhat. And this is her skirt, her bodice, whatever, torso, there we go. Let's say that's her arm, her little desk area, table, something. Could have the cauldron here, and maybe you see little sparks of fire or something. You could even have them coming up off the page. That would be cool. I tend, when for webcomics anyways, I tend not to do super scrolly, I don't know, I like the feeling of it being comic book pages where it's an actual book, but I also like the combination of the scrolling where the pictures are bigger. So I kind of do a combination of the two because I don't know, I just like seeing a bunch of the boxes clustered into one page. It's satisfying to me. I don't know. But anyway, this is how I do it. And let's say we want another box and it's of her face, but it's not her full face, because we want to reveal it at the end maybe. And so maybe it's just her bottom jaw and she's talking or something. And then we can have a bubble. This isn't the final product, so don't even worry about it that it looks like trash. Literally, this is how I start my comics off. They all look like little sketchy messes. And if you need to, you could even if you need a specific color so you can distinguish what you're reading. If you leave yourself little notes, I don't know, let's say you want, I don't know, the background to be a specific color, you could do a little arrow or something and be purple, so you don't forget that you want the background to be purple or something like that. And into this bottom portion where it's open, it's not a box, and it's let's say the floor or something. Could do a behind shot as well of the frog. And he notices, oh, I'll go get them for you, my lady, you know. And then we can go to the next page. I'm gonna combine all this, add another layer, and then you kind of continue off the story like that, and then you can be oh, how do I want to lay this out? Because you got all sorts of different boxes. You got triangle boxes. That might work actually. And I can do Maybe it's like half his face. So cute. Half his face, and you can do that little action. And then maybe he's like thinking, instead of this triangle box, we can get rid of this. Maybe he's thinking that he saw some, I saw some mushrooms in the forest or something. And then maybe like in the background there's like the house or something, wherever they're like living. And then we can have like 2 boxes or something, I don't know. And again, like maybe I'd like to change the positioning of these boxes, or maybe how like it all, because you want to make sure your boxes flow in like a fluent like shape, like an S shape. Like you want to make sure that your boxes are flowing nicely, you know, like that. You want to make sure the reader can understand which box to read next depending on where you place them, you know. So like let's say it goes like this and then like this, you know, like, so we're going like this, like in this. Let's say he opened the door, I don't know, pretty bad door, but whatever. And this is the tree with the little mushroom. He's like, I'll be back soon, mother. Next scene will be like him and tree. It's a back shot of him. And then next page, you could do looking down because he found the mushrooms. And then next box can be of said mushrooms. And then we can have a longer shot or something. I don't know. Maybe another mushroom shot. Maybe his like little foot is in the shot. And it's like him. And he's putting the mushrooms in the basket. And maybe the tree is in the back shot. And then you do another page. Maybe it's like longer shots. And these could just be empty boxes, maybe just to lead to the next scene. So, and you could do it at like in a diagonal, just to show like, oh, time has passed, you know. You could do like a little chat bubble to show time has passed. And then you do the dot dot dot. Maybe he's like holding the basket up for his master. He got all the mushrooms for her. And he's all like happy. Because he got these mushrooms. Just to show like, you know, a little more perspective and stuff. Obviously this looks awful right now, but don't worry, we will fix it. We could probably also do like these little marks showing like, oh, look at me, pay attention to me. Maybe it's like an eyeball or something, her eyeball, and she's like, what? And then maybe, actually, let's swap these boxes over. In this shot, it could be a big box, and it's her face reveal, and we can even show some depth and have her body somewhat hanging out of the box, so it shows more dimension and shape. That would be cool. Nice little cool shot of her, and maybe like, you know, she's doing the same expression in this box, and her eyes doing that same thing, like she's looking down at the frog. Maybe her like hands are like up, like she looks kind of evil in this shot, but it's fine. We'll fix it. We'll fix it. She'll look beautiful. Everything's fine. And yeah, so now like we got quite a few boxes here. Now what we could do is we could if we really want to, just to see how everything flows, we can, and I'm just going to do this in another page. So the dimensions of this was not a 6 by 9.5, so I'm just going to make a new 6, and we'll do, how many pages did I have? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, do a little bit of math, 6 times 9.5, that's 57. Here we go, we got a nice long strip of there, and this is where we can add in our pages to see how everything like flows. Okay, so we might have a little extra space than what we need, which is fine. I'm just gonna combine all of these, and I'm going to scoot them down a little bit. Okay, so now we have like a long comic strip of, like, let's say we were scrolling on a phone and this is how the layout would be for like a webcomic. So let's see how it flows. Let me get a different color out. Let's do blue. Blue. That should be good. Okay, so our eyes go down, to the side, back down, down, up. That might be a little strange, maybe. Side, down, side, down, down. Well, it would go like that. That way, and back down again. So that's our flow, or arrow, or line of sight. Not too bad, if I do say so myself. Nice little squiggly line. It's a little janky in some places, but it's okay since this is just an example comic and I don't plan on publishing it anywhere, nothing. It's just a little practice comic. Yeah. At this point, this is when you'd want to have like an actual character sheet for your characters. And or you could be a little more extra and add in references for your background and or objects that lay in the background and all that jazz. That would be super helpful, but at this point I do not have that, so I'm just gonna go off my head as I usually do because I hate planning ahead and I want to do everything now because I'm very impatient. Even though I'm like probably one of the most patient people. When it comes to my own work, I guess I am not patient at all. Okay, so I'm going to add a layer on top of this one, make it the one below it transparent. So about, like, I don't know, however much you're comfortable with. And I'm going to now start outlining everything. You can also use a template for boxes and or chat bubbles, but I like to hand draw everything because I feel like it just makes everything feel a little more cohesive, at least to me. I also like to sometimes write out my words instead of having a specific font, though I should technically make my own font. That would save me so much time in the long run, but for right now, I'm just gonna write it in. I just put it on on the same layer. How silly of me. Let me just get rid of that right away. You saw nothing? Now obviously this doesn't look super nice for the font, but it's okay because I'm just showing an example of how you can do it. There's also a site called The Fonts that I usually use sometimes, which have a bunch of crazy looking fonts that you can use. And you always want to make sure that it's okay to use them and make sure that there's no copyright. You know, you don't want to mess with that stuff, so you want to make sure it's royalty free, copyright free, stuff like that. Make sure you have permission to use it. Okay, so this page is now complete. Yeah, I do like how some of the lines aren't exactly perfect, like the hand. It's a hand, but it's not a hand, you know, like that small detail. Like no one's really gonna pay attention to that. It's whatever. In this, it's just like, what is that? Who knows? You won't know until you go to the next page. I don't know. But if you didn't know, it's the back of the frog. But anyways, yeah, we could, if we wanted to add more hashing. This is like one of my favorite things to do. If you don't want to like color, can add some more depth to your drawing and make it look a bit more interesting. And I think that's where I'm going to end it today. If you'd like to see me finish outlining, I guess, I don't know, I could do another video, but I think for right now, that's where it's going to end. Catch it in the next one. Bye.